Okay, people, so here we go. The link is going to take you to this page right here, the Circuit Construction Kit, and I want you to click on Intro. Once you click on Intro, it's going to take you to this blank workspace. The first circuit I mentioned using a circuit that we made in class or some such, or the first circuit we discussed in class. Make that circuit. It's called the single bulb circuit. So what you do is basically you drag stuff you need out onto the workspace, right? So you're just going to need these top three items here to build. Maybe the switch if you want to. That's totally optional. But you just drag the stuff out. I don't know why, but I always put the battery vertical. You don't have to. It'd work fine like that. It'd work fine wherever you put it. I just do that because it somehow looks a little bit neater to me, but that doesn't matter. You attach the wire by dragging it, and when you let go, it's attached. And if you go try to drag the wire now, it drags everything because they're attached. Now, if you made a mistake, you can click right there at the connection and then click the scissors to cut that. And you can put the wire where you need it. Right? So that was actually not a mistake. So there's the wire. Here's the single bulb circuit. I'm going to drag a light bulb out. Notice that each thing has 2 points of contact. So electricity can flow in, through the bulb, and out. Right? So one side goes to one wire, and we have to get this other side back to the other side of the battery to complete our circuit. So I'm going to use a couple more wires. I could drag this wire right up here, but that's kind of messy. I just like when I wire stuff physically, and I guess maybe this is a holdover from that, but when I wire things physically, I just like right angles. You know, it just makes it look neater, and if you ever have to troubleshoot, if it's a complete rat's nest of wires, it's hard to troubleshoot. And if everything's nice and neat, it's easier to troubleshoot. But there it is. There's my single bulb circuit. Okay. And then the first question I think is, what is the voltage across the battery? You drag the voltmeter out, and voltage is a difference between two positions. It's known as a potential difference, the amount of energy per charge. And so I have to attach the voltmeter. If I want to measure the difference between two spots, it's like if I want to measure the height of something, I need to measure it from, say, one spot to another. Well, same thing with voltage. Measure from one spot to another. And all I do is that, and I get my answer right here. There's the answer to number 1, 9 volts. Okay. So then I say stuff like, what's the voltage across the light bulb? And you put it on the 2 spots across the light bulb. And I say, what's the current through the circuit? You don't measure current with a voltmeter. You measure current with a current meter, also known as an amp meter. Now this, in the write-up, I say stuff like put the ammeter in series, but they have updated the ammeter since I wrote this. And this ammeter, you don't have to wire it in at all. You just put that little sight on the wire, and it tells you how much current is flowing. 0.9 amps of current is flowing. Okay? So right here, I've got a voltage of my voltage was 9 volts, and that's driving 0.9 amps of current with one light bulb. And then I say stuff like build the two bulb series circuit. So you do this, you drag your battery out, and a wire, and it's 2 bulbs in series. That means the electricity flows through one bulb, and then after it flows through one, it flows through the second bulb. So I get 2 bulbs. I put them like this in series with each other. Again, I try to keep it half neat. Again, I could run that right up there, but I'm not going to. It's just kind of messy. I'm going to put it there and here, drag it down. And now I've got a 2 bulb series circuit. And remember, each bulb is like an obstacle in an obstacle course. If you put more of them, it gets harder and harder to flow. Right? So the more bulbs you put in series, one after the other, the more bulbs you put in series, the more resistance there is in the circuit. And if there's more resistance in the circuit, you get less flow, right? You get less flow. So here's a 3 bulb series circuit. Now I've got 3. I don't think you're asked to do this in the write-up, but now you've got 3 light bulbs. You've got 3 different resistors in series. Or if this were an obstacle course, now these little electrons have 3 obstacles to get through, and so they're going to go even more slowly. This is called a series circuit. And if I pulled out my ammeter, oh, it's already out. Well, this one, they all have the same quote-unquote pump, the 1.5 volt, sorry, this is a 9 volt battery, the 9 volt battery, 9 volt battery, 9 volt battery. They all have the same electrical pressure, so to speak. They all have the same voltage pushing the current. But this one's the easiest to get through because there's only one obstacle. So the current flows at 0.9. This one's twice as hard to get through. And this one's, so look, less is flowing than this one. And this one's even harder to flow through. So even less is flowing. Right? So the more resistors I put in series, the more resistance they have, and so the less flow. You're also asked to build a parallel circuit. Here's a quick parallel circuit. In a parallel circuit, things are very different. It starts off just like your single bulb circuit. Just like your single bulb circuit, I've got a single bulb, right? But now if you look at the circuit diagram, it says attached to, let's see, attached to these wires, oh, it's a little bit messy here. I need to go from here out. I need to go from here out. That might be messy. I think I'm going to go like this for the parallel. Let me think about an easier way to do this, just to make it look neat. So I could do it like this. That's messy. Let me cut this here and cut this here. I'm going to let's see. Why don't we put the bulb? I'm just looking at the geometric setup of this bulb. It might be easier to put the bulb on this side. You'll see why in a second. So I need to access both. Yeah, that's going to work better, I think. Right, so here's my one bulb circuit. Again, there's my one bulb circuit. But the parallel circuit, if you look at the circuit diagram, this has, the second bulb has a wire that goes directly to the battery. It touches the same bulb, but the electricity that's going to go to this wire doesn't have to go through the bulb. And same thing with the top. Right? And so now when I put a bulb over here, I've got a light bulb here. And I think I'm just going to do this, make it quick. It's already longer than I want it to be. But now I've got a 2-bulb parallel circuit. And the big difference here is this, people. Check this out. The electricity is flowing, and this bulb here has its own source of electricity, right? What I mean by that is this bulb is wired exactly and directly to the battery, and the other end of the bulb is also wired directly to the battery. This is a very big difference because the electricity now doesn't flow through one bulb and then the other. It flows through one bulb, or it flows through the other bulb. So this is a different type of circuit, and when you break out your ammeter and you start exploring, oh, this one has 0.9 amps, and this bulb has 0.9 amps, but right here I've got 1.8 amps flowing. That's worth thinking about. Right, so this is a parallel circuit, a little bit more complicated than the series circuit. But give this a try, play with it for a bit, and of course, feel free to email me or text me with any questions you have. All right, that's about it. You can pull your meters out and put them back to keep your area clean here. Here's your reset switch to reset everything. And again, just dragging wires out and batteries out and light bulbs out as you need them. And you can pull as many out as you need, right? You won't need that many, but you might. You can use as many of these things as you want to. You can just keep pulling them out, and if you want them to go away because, oh boy, I just made such a mess, you just drag them right back, and they disappear. Right? So you can get rid of these things too if you pull too many out by accident. I don't know. Oops, I just connected those two by accident. You can cut them. Right. So stuff like that. Right. That's our workspace. So fiddle around with this. Measure voltmeter. Measure volts with voltmeters. And measure current, electrical current with ammeters, and let me know of any questions or complications or trouble that you run into, and I'll happily help you get this finished. Okay? Once you're done, submit it here in Google Classroom, and we'll be good to go. All right, see you guys soon. Have a good day. Yes.
How's it going?